Thank you everyone for subscribing to Infinitely Productions. If you have not done so, please click the bell and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy our content.
Warning! Warning! The following video is intended for educational and entertainment use only. The content will include disturbing images, violent scenarios, and explicit language. This video is intended for 18 plus and older audiences.
September 14th marks the anniversary of the death of one of Philadelphia's most notable figures. He would be a capo regime, the son of the mob boss Philip the Chicken Man Testa, and after his death, he will be known as the Crown Prince of the Philadelphia mob. This is the death story on Salvatore "Salvi" Testa. Salvatore "Salvi" Testa was a street boss, also known as a capo regime. He arose to the Philadelphia ranks after the death of his father, who was also the mob boss, Phil the Chicken Man Testa. His godfather, Nicodemo Little Nicky Scarfo, who would take the reins as the future mob boss, would plot against his own captain after being paranoid to Salvi Testa's rise of the ranks. Salvi Testa had represented Nicky Scarfo while Nicky Scarfo was incarcerated during the Riccobini faction. The reason the Riccobini faction and Scarfo had went to war was because Harry Riccobini did not pay the street tax in which he was supposed to pay Nicky Scarfo for all his illegal activities while Nicky Scarfo was incarcerated. However, as Riccobini was incarcerated for his own illegal activities, him and Nicky Scarfo will conduct wars behind bars while Salvi Testa and Harold Riccobini's own faction, Joseph Padula and Victor DeLuca, will rage against war against the Philadelphia crime family, all split into their own two separate factions. You are either the Scarfo side, which included Salvi Testa and his soldiers, or Harold Riccobini's side, which included Joseph Padula, Victor DeLuca, the Riccobini brothers, and more.
But these younger guys, they wanted their word out there. They wanted to be, you say this, well, here's the truth, boom, to you. It's like that kind of stuff, you know?
Yes, speaking of that,
Yeah, different.
and this is why I get confused, especially even though he was still young and he's still a different generation. Salvi, because you mentioned about his killings, because I was always confused. How come he never been arrested for the associations with Rocco Marinucci, Frank Chicky Narducci, and others in that realm? How come he's never been arrested when he was probably the most easy suspect to determine after his father's assassination?
I think, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Salvi Testa was certainly a target of an investigation when Narducci was killed and when all that stuff was going on. But if you have to also remember, this predated any cooperators in the Philadelphia crime family. And I think if Testa had not been killed, he probably would end up being indicted. Because when guys flipped, they would have certainly given up Testa as well. But Testa's murder, ironically, I mean, I think Testa's murder is one of the things that convinced a guy like Nick Caramandi that you screw up with Scarfo, there's no alternative. You've got to go cooperate or you're going to get killed. I mean, that was the message that the murder of Salvi Testa sent that message out. And I think Tommy Del Giorno and Nick Caramandi, the two major cooperators in the Scarfo era, got that message loud and clear. And when they ran afoul of Scarfo and they knew what had happened to Salvi, Salvi was Phil Testa's son. Phil Testa basically made Scarfo. Scarfo had been banished to Atlantic City. When Testa took over, he made Scarfo the consigliere of the family. So Scarfo was obligated to Phil Testa. Yet Scarfo killed Salvi Testa.
His own godson.
Paranoia. Salvi was this charismatic, young, good-looking gangster. Probably everything Scarfo wished he could have been, but wasn't. And Scarfo began to see Salvi Testa as a rival, where in fact I don't think he was. I think Salvi Testa was perfectly content to be the capo in Philadelphia and to work for Scarfo. Scarfo couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, speaking of that, because I've also his girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend, wrote a book about their relationship. Have you ever read about it?
Now, I've talked to, if it's the same woman we're talking about, I've talked to a couple of women who had relationships with Salvi, and nothing but praise for the guy as a very, very intelligent, charismatic, good-looking guy, handsome guy. Um, on the other hand, I mean, Nick Caramandi would say Salvi Testa grew up in that life, knew the way of Cosa Nostra inside and out, and knew what it was all about, and knew that violence was a part of it. And that's one of the reasons Testa was able to survive for almost a year while they were plotting to kill him, because he knew the ins and outs. But ultimately, it caught up to him. Yeah.
Did
Uh,
Nick Caramandi witness him being killed?
now, Nick Caramandi disposed of his body. Nick Caramandi knew how it went down in the candy store, and Nick Caramandi's job was to take the body and dump it in Jersey, which
Gotcha.
what he and a couple other guys did. I mean, he knew it was going down. He knew all the different times they tried to set Salvi up. Um, and I'm like I said, I think one of the big reasons Caramandi flipped was when he got jammed up and he thought he had pissed Scarfo off. He knew what had happened to Salvi Testa, and he's saying to himself, if he can do that to Salvi, he's going to do it to anybody, and I'm the next target. And so they flipped.
Salvatore Testa funeral procession arrived at St. Paul's Catholic Church in South Philadelphia shortly after 10 this morning. Among those arriving was Testa's sister, his grandmother, and a girlfriend. As a church bell tolled, Testa's casket was carried up the steps. A mass of Christian burial was said. In the homily, the church's pastor said it was Testa's survivors that bear the burden of disturbing rumors and innuendo. Testa reportedly had gone from relative obscurity to being a capo, or captain in the local mob, in just 3 years. According to the FBI, Testa's rise was due to his close relationship with mob boss Nicky Scarfo.
Nick more or less took Salvatore Testa under his wing, almost like a son. They were very, very close.
But sometime in the last 6 months, a strain had apparently developed in that relationship. Scarfo has been notably absent since Testa's murder.
Were you surprised that Mr. Scarfo did not show up at either the viewing or the funeral?
It didn't surprise me. We find of late at these funeral situations, there may be a multitude of reasons why they don't appear. It may be simply that he didn't want to cause that type of notoriety and create a circus-type atmosphere. Then again, it could be evidence of differences between the two of them.
O'Callaghan says it's too early to speculate whether Scarfo's absence is significant. Testa's body was laid to rest following the funeral at a cemetery in Delaware County. A large group of mourners were present at the gravesite. Salvatore Testa was a new breed of organized criminal. He was brash and aggressive. He rose through the ranks quickly. By age 28, he was dead. John Rawlins, Channel 6 Action News, South Philadelphia.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.